He was a hand washer.
What do you mean?
He washed his hands every 30 seconds.
As a bit or as a neurosis?
You might consider that yourself.
Hello and welcome, Laurie Anderson.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I love stuff with glass ceilings.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Brilliant.
Is that a bird?
Yes.
Oh.
Laurie Anderson, I usually do a very brief introduction to the guest. So,
please do.
Oh, it's difficult to try and sum
Give it
someone
a shot.
up. Okay.
Okay.
Laurie Anderson, you are a polymathic, pioneering multimedia artist. How am I doing so far?
Great.
You have worked in so many mediums that it would probably be quicker for me to list the ones that you haven't worked in.
Brain
so
surgery.
I'll say to me, you're best known for your performance art and your musical output. By that I mean both your recorded music and your inventions in the realm of musical instruments.
Okay. Thank you.
You have a long-standing interest in technology, in language, in storytelling. I'm sure we'll cover some of these topics as we have a chat. But before we start, I'm curious to know if you have any interest in gardening, growing, planting things.
I do. I'm an amateur gardener and have a garden on Long Island, and we're growing potatoes. And I saw you've got some good potatoes here.
Yes.
Where are you growing those? Out here somewhere?
They will go in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll go out straight into the ground.
Yeah.
In the spring.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're hard to grow, at least on Long Island. And you wouldn't think so because Long Island is famous for potatoes and corn.
So in what way are they difficult to grow?
Well, I can't find them, you know. Once I've planted them. I'm just talking about myself. I'm not making any giant statements about the difficulty of growing potatoes, but I forget where I put them. So then you're digging around, you're like, what's that? And it's a giant potato.
It's one of my favourite tasks on the allotment.
It's so wonderful and exciting to find a big tuber underneath where you didn't expect. I've forgotten where I'd planted it, so it's great. It was exciting.
Have you ever grown saffron before?
No.
Okay, do you eat saffron?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what we're going to do today. I've never done it either.
Oh, great.
But I've always wanted to. These are crocus sativus bulbs.
Oh, fantastic.
Which will become saffron. They are, I'll describe them for the listeners. Or maybe you can describe them actually. You have probably a better way with words than I do.
No, they look like little wigs.
Yeah, they're hairy.
Yeah, they're little hairy wigs.
They kind of look like Cousin It from the Addams Family a bit.
A little bit, yeah, they do.
But with sort of...
Or somebody with the hair brushed down in front of their face with like a little nose, sticky nose.
Exactly. So they're small bulbs and they will produce relatively small flowers, very beautiful purple flowers. And each flower will have maybe 2, possibly 3 stigma. And those stigma are bright crimson red and quite long, and that's the saffron.
Nice.
Really nice.
Exciting.
But they are a very sort of low yield plant, if you see what I mean. You only get 2 little bits of saffron per bulb. So that's why I think saffron is so expensive, because you have to plant loads and loads and loads to get a good yield of saffron.
What's your goal here?
Well, I've got 60 bulbs, and we'll just plant until we run out, or until we've had enough, and whichever comes first.
So just how far apart do they need to be and how deep?
Well, so this is actually our compost that we're going to put into smaller pots.
Oh, I see.
So we've got loads of pots here that we'll plant into. You want to put them about 4 inches apart. So in this kind of size pot, I would just put maybe 4, 5 bulbs at a push.
But with some stones at the bottom?
So what we're going to do is mix the compost, and this is horticultural gravel or grit.
Yep.
And so I'd fill the pot with compost, then get a nice handful of grit and mix it in, and then you can put your bulbs in.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a go with that first one. Do you want gloves, or are you...
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
Okay.
I'll take some gloves.
Yeah, gloves right here for you.
Okay,
I personally am not going to have any today.
Okay.
I just prefer it.
Yeah.
But I know that you've got places to be later, and you're wearing a very nice outfit
nothing
as well.
that's really going to be prevented by dirty hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you always been interested in growing things, or is this a relatively new development?
Always. I've not always been anything, really. have you always been something? And then how much do you put on top of this?
Just fill them up so that they're covered. So
Lightly or pack them down?
Pack them down.
Okay.
They want quite a firm push in.
Okay.
And we don't need to cover the whole of this.
Just.
I'd say about there. It's okay if a bit of this
really?
out.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just because we're quite late in planting them. That's why they've sprouted so much, I think.
Okay.
So it's okay. You could probably fit another one in there as well.
Oh,
have I always been anything?
Yeah.
I think I've always been a bit fussy.
Really? Born fussy?
I can't believe that's the first thing I thought of.
You'd have to ask somebody else that question, wouldn't you, really?
I'm thinking about my sister, and I think my sister probably would say that I have always been a bit fussy. So you don't
Is this your older sister who's like, she saw you?
Yeah.
As a little...
She's 5 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
And
Did she resent you being born?
No, she was really happy I was born. She really wanted me, apparently.
She did?
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yes.
Not always the case.
Because you were one of 8.
Yes,
And
yes. I'm still one of 8.
Are you?
We're still all around.
Oh, great. That's nice.
Yeah.
Where
I'm number
in
2.
8?
I'm number 2. Where do the finished pots go?
Anywhere. We'll water them in at the end so you can put them in.
I'm going to put them in there.
Lovely.
Just get out. Okay.
So you were the second one?
I was number 2, yeah.
And so do you remember wanting the other 6?
I remember not wanting them.
Really?
Yeah, I thought, why are you having these other? What's wrong with the 2 of us? So, no, yeah.
And did that linger even as they...
Oh, we became friends eventually.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I would say. So, this is going to be a lot more dirt. But you can plant these in shallow. You can go just...
They can be shallow.
Yeah. How deep are the roots of these things?
I don't actually know, but I know that they can be relatively shallow because people grow them in pots often because they like to grow them inside.
Okay.
So maybe we could go a bit higher than... no, actually, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
This is very relaxing.
Good, that's the idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're having that experience.
Well, I have to say I'm really happy to be out of New York right now.
Okay.
But I do miss the party that we just had there in New York City, celebrating our new super cool mayor, Mamdani.
He's awesome.
He's a really good dancer too, and he's a really good speaker, and he's a really... I'm so proud of people in my city that we just got this guy. And,
I'm jealous. I hope that we get something similar here.
But that the swing to the right everywhere is on everybody's minds, of course.
Is that something that you're thinking about in your work? Like, are you thinking a lot about the political situation? Is that, would you say, a dominant theme for you at the moment?
Right now it is. Because, I was asked in May there's a big festival in Vienna. It's a literature, music, dance, theater, whatever. And the theme of the festival was the rise of fascism in Europe. So they said, we want you to come and do a bunch of different things. So I did things with orchestras and different electronic stuff. And then they said, we would like you to do a 2-hour talk about government and love and the rise of fascism in Europe. I was like, why are you asking an American? And then I thought, well, we have recent experience with this. So anyway, and where did they want to do this? Orf, the radio station where Hitler announced the annexation of Austria. I was like,
okay,
just something a little less loaded as a place, But I did it. I don't really, often take assignments like that. But I thought, what a weird thing to try to talk about. What's the relationship of government to love? So, and 2 hours.
That's a long time.
It's a very long time. So I thought, I'm gonna get some help. I'm gonna find people who have talked about that. So it was a kind of mixture of a lot of people's ideas. Marcus Aurelius and 30 different people. I started with Cornel West, who's an American writer, who said, justice is what love looks like in public. And I thought, that's a good way to start. It had a lot of dimensions. It was a lot about the Pope also.
Okay.
Bob,
how did you fit him
Pope.
in there? How did you fit the Pope in there?
Oh, well, I have a little story in the thing that I'm doing right now about Bob. Bob is from Chicago.
Yes.
We've never had a Pope from
the US
never.
at all, yeah.
And he's, he's more South American. He works in South America. More than that. But he's from Chicago. And I think he's amazing.
Are you religious?
If I had to say what I am, I don't know. I'm very interested in. I'm a Buddhist practitioner, so I have done that for a very long time, and that I find really, really interesting. And for me, it's the same as being an artist because it doesn't require you to believe anything, or do anything, or it basically says it's the same principle. Be aware, pay attention. That's the only thing. Same as being an artist. Just open your eyes. There's nothing you have to say or should say or could say. So you just do be free. So I really, that's crack for me. I'm just like, okay, I can see that. This is really a wonderful way. I was just there in Dharamsala because every 2 years there's a big meeting called Mind and Life. And the Dalai Lama invites usually scientists or people. They could be neurologists. They could be different types of people. This year it was AI, mind and ethics.
Right.
So I was invited to go there, which is really unqualified to do that. But I went there. It was so there were a lot of people, and we tried to talk about that, which I find really, really fascinating. Do you use ChatGPT?
I don't.
Why not?
I think we have really different opinions on AI.
You do? What makes you think that?
Because I was researching what you think about AI.
What makes you believe that?
And I was thinking, I don't think I agree.
You believe what you read? Okay.
Well, let me ask you.
Okay.
Now I've got you in front of me.
Yeah.
I don't use ChatGPT. I don't think I have as inventive an imagination as you do to see all of the exciting possibilities that AI could bring. I think I have more of a kind of Luddite perspective where I feel fearful of what will inevitably happen with it.
What do you think will happen?
I think it will ruin the internet.
Is that bad?
I like the internet.
Okay.
And
you like that part of it. Okay.
I liked how the internet used to be. And I don't love...
When you say used to be, what part of it did you like, and what makes you sad that it's different?
I liked the variety that was on the internet. And I liked that websites, people could make, niche blogs about things that they were interested in. And
that's not possible anymore?
It's still possible, but they're hard to find. So if you Google something, you get the AI overview. But also, even if you turn that off, kind of the way the Google SEO has changed, and it's just sort of, it seems to me, quite fundamentally altered the internet. Maybe it's not just AI, but it's also, I guess, quote unquote, big tech that has done that.
Yeah, that word AI is ridiculous. Actually, I mean, it's 'cause it just means technology. Just at this point.
What excites you or makes you feel positive about it?
Quite a few things, but also I don't see it as an entity. As a musician, I've been using AI for 50 years. Algorithms that generate stuff, and then as soon as they got names, people thought, "Oh, there's somebody in there doing something that's like dangerous," and it's there probably will be people in there, consciousnesses in there at some point, but not for a while. And I think also, I know that it's legitimate to be worried about kids and screen time.
Yes.
That's definitely, we are raising a bunch of zombies. That's really scary.
And also, not just raising them, I myself am becoming one. I can feel, and that's not necessarily an AI thing, but it's just the kind of proliferation of the iPhone and the shrinking of everything into the phone. My phone is now my wallet, my communication device, my compass. Yeah. And
I can see why you're afraid, because you think technology is talking to you. Yeah.
But I suppose, like, in your career, you have spent a lot of time understanding how things work. You understand technology and you understand processes, I think, in a way that I perhaps don't, which probably does give you more of a feeling of mastery over the technology than I have.
I wouldn't say mastery, but I would say I do. My favorite quote is this cryptologist. He's actually a Buddhist teacher who was quoting a cryptologist who said, if you think, technology will solve your problems, you don't understand technology and you don't understand your problems. And I'm on that page, because it's like for a lot of people, they want speed and they want efficiency. Those are their problems. I don't have enough time, so I've got to get my system up to, up to speed. I got to be faster. So if that's your problem, then it's going to solve it. It'll help you. But if your problem is something else, and people are realizing now that it's not, you're not the only one who feels that you're not being helped by it. Mm. I would say there's a big backlash. Wouldn't you say that?
Definitely.
Don't you find most of your friends saying stuff like that, like you just said?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's taking over. It's like I'm becoming a zombie.
Do you find that AI and technology generally aids you in your imagination? Do you use it as an imaginative tool?
Yeah, I love it. But I'm talking about, there's 1 million kinds of AI. So I'm talking about a system that was trained on things that I said, wrote, did. So imagine if you had a notebook of flow, that everything you've ever said or remembered, or or every program you did, or everything you wrote, every conversation that you had was part of this giant database, and you could kind of have access to it. This is a different kind of thing. It's not some algorithm that's correcting you and trying to, neutralize you and trying to make you a good citizen or polite or whatever, or smart.
With your AI, that's all of your work.
Yeah.
Sort of AI you. What kind of things do you talk to it about or ask it to do? Or
I don't, in a way, personalize it. It's just
probably
it's
a good
just
idea.
information. No, I don't think of it as an it or a thing or a thing over there, or it's just a system. It's a system that can be made to do more interesting things if you try to.
But what kind of things do you sort of use the system for?
To get out of ruts.
Okay.
Interesting mistakes can be better than the things that you were trying for.
So sometimes when you have these AI systems, you use them and talk to them, but do you find that you talk to yourself? Like, do you have a kind of inner monologue running?
What I realized recently that I do is that I count in the back of my mind. If I'm walking along the street, I'm thinking about something, but I'm also counting. I kind of realize, I wonder how many steps it was from the last 3 blocks. I know it was 80, and then I sometimes think, I'm going to go and check to see if I'm right, and I'm right. I'm counting in the background. Did you ever do that?
I have a similar thing, but it's more with words. Mm-hmm. So I count the letters in a word all the time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
As I say a sentence, I can see if I say, hello, Laurie Anderson, that's 5, 6, 8.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you see the numbers, or what?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. What else do you do with numbers and letters?
That's mainly it. I count them, and I divide them by 3.
Mm-hmm. Why 3?
I don't know. I just always I did it when I was a kid. I think there's something nice about the number 3. In the same way, there's something nice about the number 7.
You like 7 too.
Do you not?
Okay, I mean, I think I'd like 9 better.
Okay, 9 seems very serious to me as a number, whereas 7 and 3 is a bit more kind of frivolous.
3 is not frivolous.
You don't think?
No.
It's a serious number.
You know, that's like 3 is 3 is scary.
What else do you do with numbers other than counting your steps and things like that?
Well, I wasn't aware that I did that. I just recently realized it's background stuff.
Right.
And, you know, just think what you could do if, like, you really started to try to use your mind in multi-leveled ways. You know, if you really got some training in that, because you just kind of do it sort of because you do it. But did anyone ever help you with that?
With my numbers
Training?
thing? No.
Talk to you about what it was and why you're doing it and how you could develop that, because that's a nice thing to have.
It's really useful if people are doing crosswords and they say, I need a 6-letter word and I think it's sativas, and I say, that's 7.
Yeah.
That's the only use that I've so far found for it.
But you can find some other things.
I'm sure there's something out there, but no one's ever really taken much of an interest in it. I like it. It's a good party trick. I'm very interested. You have such a astonishing imagination, and I'm interested generally in what it's like in your brain, I guess. That's partly why I think I wanted to know if you talk to yourself. But I want to know, when you picture something, so if you shut your eyes and you picture an apple, can you see the apple?
I see apple-like things. You know, I don't know if I see a certain apple. But, you know, one of the things I've been doing lately is binaural work, and it is so much fun.
What's that?
You know, binaural audio is 3-dimensional stuff. So you put on headphones, and the typical thing the demo of it is a haircut. So I really love this kind of feeling of what's going on in your head as separate from out there. So I did I think it was last year or last summer, was it? Yeah, last summer there was a sound show in Berlin, and they asked me to do something. So I did some of these binaural work, and it's theater for one. It's so much fun to do. Just because you're asking about what's going on in your head. So this is like, what is it like to be in somebody else's head? So we recorded creepy things, like, for example, recording somebody else chewing. And so when you hear that, and it sounds exactly like it does when you're brushing your teeth or chewing, but your jaws aren't moving. And you're like, what is going on? It's really, really so much fun. I'm doing a bunch more of these things now. It's going to be in the Venice Biennale as one part of the things that I'm doing. These things for headphones, and I don't know if it's a great place, because the Biennale is about spectacle,
right,
and not about introspection exactly. So it's probably not going to work very well there. But too bad. I know, it's like. And then I was working with somebody, a sound engineer who is working with some monks, and they're working on what part of the brain certain frequencies activate. So, with chanting, that does something to the frontal lobe, and does something to the back, and so these are all areas where different kinds of thinking occur. So problem-solving thinking or background thinking, or where you're counting those numbers back there. And so you can stimulate that part and kind of you can like go into hyperdrive on counting the letters, and if you want to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to put this over here.
So Laurie, you've planted probably like 50 bulbs so far. This seems like many more than 60.
We did.
Were you counting, actually, as you were doing this?
Yes.
We should have been. God, I should test you. Anyway, I think this is way more than 60, and it's more saffron than anyone could probably humanly eat.
Really? What are you going to do with it?
I don't know. I don't know how to store it. I think you put it in oil.
Oh.
Okay. I need to, you know what? I'm going to use my I'm going to do some research with my amazing phone. But I think that we can probably call it a day, saffron-wise.
Okay.
Can I ask you something about someone that you used to work with that I'm a big fan of?
Depends.
Can I ask you about Andy Kaufman?
Yeah. What would you like to know?
I just would like to know, what was Andy Kaufman like?
Oh, he was like himself. You know, he was himself. He was a really original person. You know, when I saw him first, a friend said, "Oh, you got to see this guy. He's in Queens. He's doing this act in a bar." No one had ever heard of this guy.
Right.
So I went, and he was doing the bongos and crying. You know, he was just playing bongos. He just started. And everyone in this bar was like frozen with pity. And so I said, "Who are you?" You know, and so we became friends. And then I was his sidekick for a few bunch of stuff that he did. We would just go to Coney Island, for example, and stand by the roto whirl where you're plastered with centrifugal force, like and the bottom drops out. Yeah. So we'd strap in, and he would go. At the last second, he'd go, "I don't think this ride is safe." And everyone's like, "What?" Because I saw on straps, he gets out of the ride. Or it's that, test your strength thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're supposed to stand around, and I'm, "Andy, could you get me a bunny, please? I really want a bunny." And then he's just making fun of all the guys. He's going, "I can do that." Finally, people are like, "All right, bud, you try it." And he goes, and it goes, this far up, like to the try again weakling level. And he's outraged because it's rigged, and he insists on seeing the manager. And I'm supposed to like trail into the office of the manager, and he goes, "This is rigged. You can see, and it's an hour."
Jesus.
It was so much fun.
He must have been an amazing person to spend time with, I have to say.
He was a hand washer.
What do you mean?
He washed his hands every 30 seconds.
Really? Mm-hmm. As a bit or as a neurosis?
You might consider that yourself. Just like, no, he did. Not as a bit, no, not as a bit.
As a genuine sort of...
Yeah.
Every 30 seconds?
Well, no, every minute, let's say, but all the time.
Wow, I'm so glad I asked, because I don't think that would be something I would ever have learnt about him.
All the time.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you for letting me know about that.
I guess. You're welcome.
What's your relationship like with nostalgia? Are you a nostalgic person?
What do you mean by nostalgia?
I suppose I'm asking because you seem like someone who is so future-oriented. You seem like someone who is optimistic and excited about things that happen in the future, and excited about technological developments and changes and things happening. And I don't know if I associate that with a nostalgic...
I'm not that much of a cheerleader for new stuff, really. I'm really not. It's certainly not for the sake of that it's new.
No.
If it can do something interesting, then I'm interested in it. But just because it's new, I don't think I care whether it's new or not. I hope I don't, because that's sort of moronic, in a way. Wow, what a new thing. But when you say nostalgic, you just mean like when you say that, what are you thinking about?
I suppose you dwell on the past.
Sure I do. Yeah, I have a bunch of things that I'm fixated on. Yeah, things I thought I did wrong, or I try not to be. But doesn't everybody have those things that they kind of like? They just themes of things that they mostly would like to redo. Or maybe that's silly. I suppose you could be nostalgic for the time when you were a little kid, and it seemed a happy time, and everything seemed sort of carefree, and you feel nostalgic for it. Is that what you mean by it?
I suppose so. I guess that's what I understand by it. I think I'm a very nostalgic person.
Are you?
Yes.
And so you wish that you could go back in time?
Sort of. I suppose it's just when I look at your work over the years, it just, in a very good and inspirational way, feels like it's either very much like, rooted in its present or looking forward, rather than harking back to something? Or
Boy, I have a lot of things about the past and in my work. A lot of things. And a lot of things about regret. A lot. The thing that I'm doing now, there's a story about, I don't know if it's nostalgia, it's kind of madness, actually. It's about an uncle who was in the war, and he should never have been drafted, but he came, and...
this is your uncle?
Yeah, one of my uncles. They all went to war, and this one came back unable to stop crying. So he had PTSD, but, they didn't have a name for that. They just said, go to your family. So he came to us, and he lived with us in the attic for 3 years, screaming every night and crying. She couldn't stop crying, and smoking. So he was a chain smoker, so he smoked the whole time. And so that was much of my childhood, was listening to a man scream all night and worried that the house would burn down because it was filled with smoke. Then one day, he just came down the stairs, walked out, got married, got a job, and he lived a life. But smoking always was connected to that, and it wasn't nostalgia, but it was certainly a gesture, a smell, a thing that always reminded me of, what it really was about when we said, what happened to Uncle Alan? They said, well, something happened to him in the war over in France. So it was like France became something dangerous, mysterious, horrible, able to make you go crazy, combined with smoking. So when I learned to smoke later in Paris, I was like, had a feeling. I would call it nostalgia, that it combined war, things burning, a childhood full of fear, a lot of things. A man who was destroyed by war, as many American men were. What I wanted to say was that this is a music show, and I'm going to I'm going to say one thing. There was a book called Deep Blues by Robert Palmer, and he was writing about the origin of the blues, and this is bogus information because now it's hearsay, but it's something I always thought he said, but he actually only alluded to. In New Orleans, all the musicians were kind of drafted to go to play at the funeral. So they would be in the procession and they would go out to the graveyard playing. And then, because they were black, they said, okay, put your horns down and you're going to dig the grave. And that was the origin of Can You Dig It?
Oh, wow.
No, that's also a piece of bogus information.
Oh my God, okay.
But I heard it as, a few problems about this, is in New Orleans, you don't bury people in dirt, because otherwise the river's going to just wash them off. So they put the things up. So the person who started this story about Can You Dig It had probably never been to New Orleans. But I do like the feel of that, because Can You Dig It has like what you're doing has this gooey kind of like musical thing going on with it, and Can You Dig It it's work and it's music.
Do you find, as a storyteller and someone whose work encompasses storytelling so much, do you have a problem with falsehoods like that?
Oh, no, I like them.
Yeah, so do I.
It's true, what's true? True schmoo.
There's such a rich tradition in the UK, I think especially, of pub stories, when you go down the pub with the old fella who's there every Friday and he tells you some story that in your bones is bullshit, but it's a fantastic story and you have a great time as he tells you it.
Check out the Bible, how true is that?
Exactly.
It's a good story though.
A fantastic story. And maybe that's a good place to leave it. Laurie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good luck with these
for the saffron. Thank you. If you're looking to upgrade your garden tools, or perhaps find a great gift for somebody in your life, look no further than Newell. There's something for pretty much everyone in their range of high-quality Japanese gardening tools, kitchen and homeware. It's really important to me when I buy something like secateurs or a kitchen knife that I know it's going to last. I want something durable and well-made. Nowaki's range is certainly both of those things, and stylish to boot. You can get 10% off your Nowaki order by heading to nowaki.com and using the code DIGGINGWITHFLO at the checkout. That's DIGGINGWITHFLO, all one word.